Today I want to talk about night safety while riding e-scooters and e-bikes. Now, I never planned to make a video on this topic, but given my experience over the last several months riding these scooters day and night, I definitely feel that you need to do as much as you can to make yourself as visible as possible at night. One thing I want to say really quickly is this video isn't sponsored by anybody at all whatsoever. I purchased this equipment on my own and actually use it for something unrelated to e-scooters and e-bikes. I actually use it for my marathon training that I did last year, early into this year. Now, one of my biggest learnings from riding overnight over the last several months is that people driving cars are typically looking for other cars. So when they stop at a stop sign, they look left, they look right. At night, they're looking for something familiar. That's two headlights, right? And a lot of times, the scooters, the e-bikes that we ride don't have two headlights. They have a single headlight or a tail light, and oftentimes those headlights are super small. They're not huge and bright like you would see in a car. So a lot of times they look like landscape lighting. It's hard to differentiate a scooter light from a landscape light, especially if you're driving around residential areas. So what I found is that that headlight often doesn't suffice. And in terms of reflective gear, I've run into several situations where there were cars barreling down the road with no headlights at all whatsoever. And guess what? In order for any reflective material on your person or on your scooter or bike to be effective, you have to have light shining at you for that light to reflect back. And if there's no headlight, there's no reflection. So we need to do more to make ourselves more visible at night. And one thing that I decided to do was wear this lighted vest that I used during my marathon training. This is actually made by a company called Noxgear. And I'll tell you what, I've started using this on my night rides and it has worked wonders. So let me show you what this looks like in the dark. So now that it's dark, I can show you how this works. You've got this LED panel and then this clear fiber optic cable that helps transmit the light around the entirety of the vest. And you just hit the button here to turn it on. And there you go. We've got green. You turn it on again, you got red, and you can keep cycling through this. And you've got a ton of different colors that you can choose from, even combinations of colors. You've got some strobe effects, and then some more intense strobe effects, which you'll see here in a moment. For that extra visibility at night, you can have it cycle through color, cycle through the same color. All that to say, you've got a ton of options. You just wear this like a little vest. I use it during my marathon training. It is so light that it actually disappears. It's not a hindrance at all. It's not something that's bulky. You just throw it on. You can actually charge it. It's got a USB-C port here, and it lasts hours and hours and hours. And so I've only had to charge this a few times since I've owned it, and I've used it a ton. Noxgear also makes this little headlight thing that attaches to the vest, the actual clipping mechanism. You can turn it on, and look at that, it's super bright. It's got a couple of brightness levels, as well as an indicator as how much power you have remaining. That's an optional thing you can get with that vest. I used it because I don't have a headlight built onto my body like a scooter or an e-bike does, so I needed to use this during all of my runs at night. So I say all of this because I know that there are a lot of people out there that ride their scooters, their e-bikes, their regular bikes, rollerblades, in the evening hours, late at night, when it's dark and visibility is limited. And a lot of these things like e-bike scooters come with the headlights, come with the taillights, which are fantastic, but I have found that they're not enough. We've got to do more to make ourselves as visible to the cars and motorcycles that are driving around us as possible. Because guess what? We are creatures of habit. I've done it time and time again where I go stop at a stop sign, I look and I'm like, oh wow, there's a bike there. But it's easy to miss because it's not something that you're used to seeing. And what I found is that sometimes puts me in a dangerous situation because drivers aren't looking for people like me on the road. They're looking for what they're used to seeing, and that is cars. So do yourself a favor, focus on your visibility at night. Noxgear makes some great products that I personally have used for my marathon training and I now use for riding my e-bike and scooter at night, but there are a ton of options out there to increase nighttime visibility. Just look for something that gives you that visibility not only from the front, but from behind as well, because people come at us from both directions. And don't solely rely on reflective material because we all know it, some people go barreling down the road with no headlights at all. I hope this information was useful for you. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And as always, thank you so much for tuning into Tom's Gadget Garage. I'll see you next time.